Silence can be deafening. It can scream in the darkness and hide the scars. It can distort the truth and bind the innocent. Such is the power of silence.
Sexual abuse in South Africa is pretty endemic, and I think for a number of reasons. There's a whole generation of children that are growing up in this country being accustomed to being raped, being violated.
It wasn't nice.
It's not uncommon now to come across a child, maybe 12-year-old child, who's been raped more than once by different people, by different individuals, different gangs, and maybe she's got 2 or 3 cases going on in different courts.
Silence protects the perpetrator. It locks the doors and hides the identity of those who have violated and abused our children. Innocence is lost, and still we turn a blind eye, too busy to hear their cries. With compassion for the hurting, commitment to justice, and a calling from God, the Open Door Crisis Center has not turned a deaf ear. 55,000 men, women, and children have walked through the doors of this crisis center and have received a holistic, caring response to their cry for help.
Open Door has been there for me, and there is someone to listen to me, and they've been good.
Many of the doors are closed to women and children. They go to the social services, they go to the SAPS, and doors close. And for me, it was just a wonderful opportunity. I really believe that God was saying that the doors needed to stay open, not just the service that was here and there, but something that would stay open 24 hours a day.
Open Door Crisis Center has looked into all ages. We are attending to children, we're attending to the youth, we are also attending to adults and elderlies.
Open Door assists in providing that safe place, whether it be in the form of accommodation at the shelter together with counselling and treatment, or it be simply the counselling and treatment or play therapy for younger children. It provides that space where the victim can be empowered.
Empowering those who are afraid and giving a voice to those who have been silenced is the key that keeps the open door unlocked. Children are often the most vulnerable, and the Open Door Crisis Center is a shelter in the midst of the most violent storms of abuse, incest, and rape.
Children often don't have the vocabulary. They don't really know what's happened to them. They can't really express themselves. And for them, it's just a whole confusion of feelings. So they're able to hear at the Open Door, tell their story, and work through that story.
With one of the best equipped play therapy rooms in KwaZulu-Natal, the Open Door helps children as they search for meaning in the confusion. Whether helping a child or giving a mother food for her children, the Open Door Crisis Center is always committed to restoring dignity and renewing hope, even for those who are destitute.
Other clients, they come without a cent to pay us back, but still we help them with the passion and treat them with dignity.
Passion and dignity. These are the values that drive the Open Door Crisis Center to leave the city and to travel to the surrounding rural communities.
As you will see from this village that we visited here this morning, it's very typical of many of the areas around here where social services have not yet reached them. The Open Door is filling a valuable role in being able to educate and be able to bring resources to these under-resourced areas.
Open Door is so great because it goes straight to the community, work with the community.
Durban, South Africa's biggest port and playground, attracts sun-seekers, surfers and visitors. But beneath the glamour lies a dark shadow. As night descends, her streets become home to sex workers and pimps, many of whom have been forced into sexual bondage. And the violent issue of human trafficking is one that cannot be ignored.
Human trafficking has become so in your face that we can no longer ignore it.
And Open Door is the recognised shelter in KwaZulu-Natal to actually protect victims.
And I think what makes us different is that we're actually coming into the community. We're recognizing that there's poverty, that there are lack of social services, that the government has not yet moved into these areas, which makes them vulnerable to trafficking.
Some of the children are trafficked because they don't have parents. If somebody came to them, they promised them to give something for them now. Even the women are trafficked because they need some job.
Poverty has compounded the urgency for those most vulnerable to human trafficking, and the Open Door Crisis Centre has established Ikhaya Themba.
Kaya Letemba is very unique. It's a very unique place because this is the only place in in the whole KwaZulu-Natal that takes the victims of human trafficking.
One can even begin to imagine that a woman has had to have sex up to 20, 30 times a day. It's inconceivable. And at the most, people don't believe that. So if you can imagine the physical, the mental, the emotional pain and trauma that they have to go through.
Open Door has given me a home where I can, sleep and, rest easy. I don't have to be scared all the time. I don't have to be fearful of something happening to me. I know I can trust the people here. I know that I don't have to, be watched all the time and treated anyhow. And I've received a lot of help from the time that I came. And it's hard for me to say this because it's making me very emotional.
Caring for the vulnerable, opening doors and breaking the silence. This is why the Open Door Crisis Centre exists.
Open Doors allows people who even poor are from underprivileged background to come and speak up and get some help.
The role of the Open Door, I think it is important, especially in our black culture, because most of us, we don't really see the need to go and look for help, for counseling and all those things. But yes, we're going through so much as well.
So if I knew other women in certain